tonight.
It's finally justice for our family, friends, our entire community.
Greg Fertuck is found guilty of murdering his estranged wife, Sheree. Sanctions end as Saskatchewan teachers agree to binding arbitration. And how a Saskatchewan company's YouTube reality series landed it in trouble with federal wildlife officials.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Friday, June 14th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. I'm Ethan Williams in for Sam McKeag. Thanks for joining us tonight. Greg Fertuck is guilty of the first-degree murder of his estranged wife, Sheree. Today's decision ends a saga that began 8 years ago when Sheree Fertuck disappeared from the gravel pit where she worked. The case featured admissions, denials, and an ambitious undercover police sting. Dan Zakreski has more.
Justice has finally been served.
Sheree Fertuck's three sisters waited 3,113 days for this moment to say those words.
You know, we just firmly believe, I guess, that Sheree can now rest in peace as our parents will be able to as well.
Sheree's sisters and three adult children were in the packed courtroom this morning. They listened as Justice Richard Daniluk methodically dismantled Greg Fertuck's defense. He talked about how Fertuck had lied about where he was the day that Sheree disappeared, how an analysis of cell phone records placed him in the gravel pit, and when confronted with the records, he admitted that he was there, but denied killing Sheree. The judge talked about the discovery of the murder weapon hidden under a granary, and how the shell casings found at the gravel pit where Sheree disappeared matched the gun. And Daniluk talked about the climax of the police sting, secretly recorded at this hotel. This is where Greg Fertuck told police that he had killed Sheree. And then he explained in detail where and when and how he did it. Outside court, the prosecutors referenced Sheree's mom, who died not long after she disappeared.
The most perhaps impactful thing that I felt in this whole proceeding was the testimony from the lead investigator who went to visit Sheree's mother, Julianne Sorotsky, at the hospital as she was dying and said, "I will not let this investigation go."
Promise kept. Dan Zakreski, CBC News, Saskatoon.
The year-long dispute over a collective agreement for Saskatchewan's teachers is close to being over. The Teachers Federation and provincial government are going to binding arbitration, and that means an end to sanctions. Rotating strikes and work to rule have disrupted a good chunk of the school year. Teachers had rejected 2 offers from the government last month. The main sticking point has been classroom size and complexity. But today, the Saskatchewan Teachers Federation announced it will enter binding arbitration with a submission that includes classroom complexity.
Looking forward, binding arbitration is a fair, unbiased opportunity for us to present our case. And as I said, I'm confident that we'll be able to present a very strong, compelling case to ensure that we do see improvements and protections around teachers' working conditions and our students' learning conditions, which is, I think, what everyone wants to see. We want to see our students supported in our classroom, and as parents, we want to see our children supported in their educations.
Education Minister Jeremy Cockrell says arbitration will bring routine back to students, families, and teachers. A private school in Saskatoon has suddenly closed after allegations its director wasn't paying its teachers. Staff at the Montessori school tell CBC their paychecks consistently came late or not at all. Dane Patterson has more.
There's no empathy, there's no compassion, there's no understanding, there's no consideration of the kids.
This weekend, Rebecca Ellert was sent a message along with other parents whose kids were attending Wild Spirit Education in Saskatoon. The school provided toddler and preschool programs and taught students from kindergarten to grade 10. The message was sent from the school's director, Krista Nelson, who has previously been recognized for her work in the community, including by CBC. The message said the school would be closing immediately for the safety of the students and Director Nelson's family. It says the decision is because of recent events and malicious harassment. In another message, she talks about stories circulating in the community about her character.
It was a little sporadic, very unexpected, obviously. especially being that all of us had just paid well over $1,000 in tuition to her for what is essentially 3 days of care.
Now Ellert has to find new childcare.
We have no option for childcare. The wait lists are absolutely insane. We have no alternative. So many of us working parents, we're struggling day to day now.
Teachers who worked at the school are also concerned. Several former educators at the school tell CBC they consistently receive their paychecks late or not paid at all. Some filed claims for unpaid wages. Now that the school is closed, there are mixed emotions.
It's like a flurry of different emotions. Like, I'm relieved, I'm sad, I'm mad, I'm frustrated, I'm devastated.
Cleveland worked at the school since it opened in 2017. Despite the paycheck disruptions, she stayed.
Because I was able to make it work financially at home, I'm very grateful to have a partner that has a job and all that kind of thing. And so I was able to kind of overlook the late payments and all that. And stay for the kids and some stability. There had been a lot of turnover.
CBC requested an interview with Nelson and received a text message in response. In it, she said she's working closely with the ministry to ensure that all claims filed are accurate and taken care of. It's unclear which ministry she's referring to. The Ministry of Labor Relations and Workplace Safety says it has received 15 official complaints from former Wild Spirit employees in 2023 and 24 about unpaid wages. It also received additional complaints in 2021, but those have been resolved. The ministry says of the resolved complaints, none have resulted in prosecutions. Dane Patterson, CBC News, Saskatoon.
The province is funding 2 new programs at the University of Saskatchewan to help recruit and retain more healthcare specialists. The training programs target 2 in-demand healthcare positions, occupational therapists and speech pathologists. The 2-year master's programs will each take 40 students a year. Right now, the province pays to reserve 50 spots in similar programs for Saskatchewan students in Alberta. The health minister says having students study at home leads to better retention.
We do need more of those individuals, those professionals. We have trouble recruiting them as it is already because there are high demands. We're trying to build our healthcare system, trying to fund more permanent full-time positions in the province. But unless you have that feeder of grads coming out of a post-secondary education program, it is difficult to fill those positions.
The province is chipping in $8 million for school renovations and startup costs. The programs should be running by 2026. A legislative committee that could investigate allegations of bullying by government MLAs and staff against Speaker Randy Weeks is set to meet next week. The House Services Committee has oversight over the legislature's operations. 4 of the 8 committee members are Saskatchewan Party MLAs, but it's not clear if they plan to show up to the meeting. The official opposition says the province deserves answers.
I think they need to show up and to answer to these allegations. Again, not just of the speaker, but there were other allegations that were made of about staff in the building.
Last month, Weeks alleged he had been bullied, harassed, and intimidated by government members and staff. He also alleged former government House Leader Jeremy Harrison brought a firearm into the legislature. Harrison later admitted to that and apologized. A Saskatchewan oil field company has been fined tens of thousands of dollars for violating federal laws protecting endangered species. Investigators initially seized a shipment of taxidermied animals, but then, as Aishwarya Duda reports, they discovered more evidence on the company's YouTube channel.
What? Yes, that is a baboon in the back of a trailer in Saskatchewan. And there's more animals, a bison, a bear, and others.
This is unreal. A kangaroo?
A Saskatchewan oil field company was fined $60,000 for importing endangered animals without a permit. OSY Rentals is located in a small village called Major. It's about 200 kilometers west of Saskatoon. And it has a YouTube reality show. In it, you can see employees flaunting the forbidden fauna.
Leave the guy alone for 2 weeks. I'm up north working, and here I come back, and he's just went on a shopping spree.
That video was taken down an hour after CBC contacted the company.
Here there were some videos showing other shipments and mounts And that's when we started looking at what other items came in.
Some taxidermied animals were seized in Winnipeg, while a shipment made its way from an auction in Texas to Major. But then investigators saw the YouTube video.
Without the permitting process, we're unable to determine if they were poached, illegally taken, where they originated from.
That's when they got a search warrant for the company, which led to more animals being seized. Endangered animals are protected by law. You need an export permit from the country of origin, and you need an import permit to get them into Canada, which the company did not have. And this wasn't the company's first rodeo. It previously imported 2 other shipments, including a black bear and more baboons. As for the animals, authorities are still trying to figure out what to do with them. Usually, they're donated to educational facilities. OSY Rentals did plead guilty in provincial court. It did not reply to our request for comment. Ashwarya Duda, CBC News, Saskatoon.
Well, the sights and sounds of Pride take to the streets of Regina this weekend. It is Pride Week in the city, and the annual Queen City Pride Parade is tomorrow. The parade kicks off at noon on 12th Avenue in the Heritage neighborhood before heading downtown and eventually past the Legislative Building into Wascana Park. Saskatoon's Pride Week kicks off next week with its parade on the 22nd. Stay with us. Tyreek Reed will tell us how the forecast is looking for all these Pride events when we come back.
The weather update is brought to you by Capital Ford Lincoln. Truck time is on now.
Welcome back. Our weather specialist Tyreek Reed joining us now. And Tyreek, I had to take a walk on my lunch break today because I feel like days like this need to be taken advantage of.
Exactly, Ethan. You know, the up and down temperatures, you never know what you're going to get. Today we got some really warm weather in southern Saskatchewan, and really throughout the entire province we saw that warm front move in from south of the border, and this is causing temperatures above seasonal down south and even right at seasonal up in the north. We're seeing temperatures right now at around 19 degrees in Stony Rapids. As we move down south, that's when we really start to see that warmer weather. We're even nearing 30 degrees in places like Leader and Maple Creek. Here in Regina, we're at 23. We saw a daytime high of around 26 today, actually. Same thing in Saskatoon. They saw a daytime high of 25. So yeah, very warm weather to start this Father's Day weekend. But of course, we're still tracking precipitation down in the southeast right here. That's already starting to make its way out of the province. And in the Churchill region to the west, we still have some active weather that started this morning, and that will continue to make its way through as we head into tomorrow. So that's really going to start to develop overnight, as you can see right here. As we head into tomorrow, we're going to see another system down in the southeast make its way through, and that's going to bring pop-up showers and also some thunderstorms heading into Sunday as well. This is when it really starts to get messy for anyone thinking about heading outside. We're going to see this system develop in the Churchill region and in central Saskatchewan. That's going to bring pop-up showers to several areas, and also the potential for some thunderstorms as well. Heading into Monday, we're still going to be looking at that precipitation in the north, possibly even some snow, as you can see right here. Now, we really want to focus on the southeast for tomorrow. That's where we're going to see a lot of that active weather, possibly even some tornado warnings, and also hail and very strong wind gusts as well. Now, speaking of winds, they were quite low today. Heading into tomorrow, we don't have to worry about that too much. So if you're going to be outside for the Pride Parade, you don't really have to hold on to your hats. But on Sunday, that's when that wind really starts to pick up. We're going to see gusts near 70 kilometers an hour in some areas. So yeah, you could hold on to your hat, but I would just advise to not wear one. And of course, we're going to be seeing a lot of that accumulation in the southeast and also in the north as time goes on. By Monday, we could see a few millimeters of rain in areas like like Regina. Now looking at our 7-day forecast. Beautiful day tomorrow for those of us heading out to the Pride Parade. On Sunday, we're going to start to feel that cooler temperatures really start to move back in. We're only going to see a high of 18 degrees. And of course, that might feel a lot colder because of the wind chills. They will be gusting near 70 kilometers an hour for gusts. And heading into next week as well, we're going to start to feel that cooler temperature make its way back in. In Saskatoon as well, we're going to be met with a lot of precipitation on Sunday because of that system that we talked about earlier. And of course, wind gusts will be gusting near 70, but the weather will start to improve as we head closer and closer to the official start of summer, Ethan.
And here I thought we were done with the wind all this time.
Not yet. Are we ever done with it? Come on.
Truly. Summer in Saskatchewan, I guess. All right. Thanks, Ty.
No problem.
His mother's not nearby.
A New Brunswick couple woke up to a young black bear dining out on their back deck, and it had a tight grip on their feeder. They say they get lots of animals in their yard, but this bear encounter is a first. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back. For the first time ever, Canada is sending a 3-on-3 basketball team to compete at the Olympics. And a Saskatchewan hooper from Humboldt helped the team qualify. Paige Crozon says she's always dreamed of becoming an Olympian. Now her dream is coming true as she prepares to compete in Paris. Crozon also manages a free Indigenous basketball league here. She hopes she can inspire others by competing at the Olympics.
Just want to showcase that, like no matter what is in front of you, if you have a goal in mind, there's always a way, and it's required a lot of resiliency and support, but have found a way to accomplish my goals and dreams. So feel very grateful to be in this position. But yeah, I just want to be able to, show my daughter and the kids in the Living Skies Indigenous Basketball League, just like the power of dream and the power of sport.
Crozon says Team Canada's goal is to come home with a medal. The 3-on-3 basketball event at the Paris Olympics runs July 30th to August 5th. The Saskatchewan Roughriders had their last practice today before they head to Hamilton tomorrow to face the Ticats. Last week in Edmonton, it was a solid return for receiver Kian Schaefer-Baker, who had 5 catches. He's proud to be one of several receivers securing big wins for the team.
Oh my goodness, what a finish! He goes to Sean Bain for the hat-trick!
It'd be nice to get one, but if your guy goes out there and has 5 touchdowns, that's part of the game, As long as we got the win, that's all that matters. We work hard all off season just so we could come and perform in season. So missing a little bit of time last year, it was definitely tough, but just being here with the guys again, there's no greater feeling than that. Yeah, no, it was always on my time, just taking it one day at a time. That was the main thing. Not trying to rush it or try to force myself to be back out there, because you definitely do want to be back out there as soon as possible.
Here's Harris over the middle, he drops it in at the 45.
We've been talking about since last year getting to work with each other, and sadly it didn't get to happen, but we've kept those same conversations going all this year, and it's a blessing and a wonderful opportunity to be able to get on the field with someone like that who's had so much experience and won several games and just hit his milestone for 30,000 yards.
When I was hurt, don't make a mistake of saying I was just sitting there at home eating Cheetos. I was working hard, and I was making sure that I was watching these guys, so if I had the opportunity to play with them, I was having a full and better understanding of who they were as receivers. And so we've got some guys, and I've really got to know them the route running last year as I was hurt even more, and this year in camp as well.
He's got 5 different receivers to plug the ball in. We're always open. And it helps us as a receiver group to get each other better. We got so many guys to learn from and pick each other's brain and help each other out. We all have different tools and different assets that we bring to the game, and we all take that from one another.
And here's hoping the Riders have some good weather for that game, Tyreek.
Exactly. So let's take a look at the weather in Hamilton on Sunday, Ethan. So we're looking at highs around 24 degrees here, over there in Hamilton. And of course, some sun and cloud there as well. When we bring it in here overnight, we're looking at a daytime high. We're going to start our day tomorrow in Regina with 17 degrees. Then we're getting closer to that daytime high of around 25 degrees in the afternoon. And of course, in Saskatoon, waking up to mainly sunny skies as well, feeling that warmer weather. And as we head into the afternoon in Saskatoon, we'll be seeing highs closer to 25, getting closer to there as well, Ethan.
Good day for the Pride Parade tomorrow in Regina.
Exactly.
All right, thanks, Tyreek.
No problem.
And before we go tonight, as the school year comes to an end and the weather gets nicer, driver training ramps up in the province's high schools. And one Regina father is sharing his trials and tribulations about teaching his daughter how to drive and shares some advice of his own.
I'm James Whittingham. I'm a dad of two really smart kids who recently learned how to drive. It can be a harrowing experience. It was for me. My cardiologist begged me not to do it, but I did it.
Okay, merge. Merge. Put the mobile device down now! Hey, eyes on the road! Now you're gonna kill us!
My daughter really wanted to learn how to drive. She really wanted that freedom that comes in Saskatchewan with getting your behind from A to B and C and sometimes beyond. And she doesn't respond well to criticism while driving. It's a pandemic thing. They've become very stressed, and any sort of criticism and things lasted the whole drive. So eventually what I learned was, don't say anything unless it involves losing your life. If you want to avoid losing your life at an intersection or a ticket, say something. Say it gently, say it kindly, and don't insult them.
Well, they're helicopter parents. They're very safety. So even when I took a little bit off, when I turned a bit too much, they were flying over the car like crazy.
Better than I thought it would be. I enjoy it a lot, and my parents are really good teachers.
My dad was pretty tough about it, and it actually helped me to know the rules and the way I drive safely.
Maybe to take it easy on them, I would say. Just like be easy because it's like their first time.
He gave a lot of advices, to be honest, and it was kind of fun, like when your parent teaches you to drive, I feel they're happy and we are happy, like kind of it's sharing their knowledge to us, so yeah.
They get stressed too. So you pretend everything's fine. It may not be, but just go ahead with it. And eventually, they'll forget about fear and learn how to drive properly.
All I can say is patience. What you got to remember is that parents are scared. They're scared that they're going to run into something or they're going to have a collision. They don't have a brake like I have. They don't have the experience that I have.
I've had a few short weeks taken off my life from stress, but my daughter now has her license. She's a better driver than I am. She's always criticizing me. I trust her now. She's going to be safe. You don't have to worry about her. Everything worked out.
Good advice for us all. That is it for us tonight and for this week. For news anytime, of course, you can always head to our website, cbc.ca/Sask. You can subscribe to the CBC Saskatchewan YouTube channel or download the CBC News app. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great weekend.